What if your next TTRPG didn't have swords, dragons, or a world-ending steak? What if your biggest conflict was figuring out whether if the blue jay likes sunflower muffins or raspberry bread? Today, my friends, we're talking about cozy solo TTRPGs, where the most intense scene is petting a magical cat, but the vibes are still immaculate. Well, hello everybody. My name is Turk, and welcome back to the Grouch Couch. Right here, we do all different kinds of TTRPG things, but today, we're talking about solo TTRPGs once again, and we're talking about how to play as cozy as possible. No rebellions, no galaxy-brained heists, just warm blankets and emotional healing and personal vibes. Today, we're also going to be flipping through Mythic Magazine number 48, and we're going to be focusing in only on the cozy part of the zine here, because there's a lot of really good stuff in it. And if you do want to pick up this Mythic Magazine zine for yourself, you can use our drive-thru-RPG link down in the description. Help support the show. Today we're going to cover what cozy TTRPGs are, how to play one, how to build a soft little loop that you can curl yourself up into like a storytime beanbag chair, and what the positives are of it. So what exactly makes a cozy TTRPG? We're talking about catching positive vibes. Cozy is all about comfort and safety and emotional warmth. It's like if Animal Crossing and Studio Ghibli had a journaling baby, right? There are no real quests here. There's no monsters, and there's no end goal, which is important. You might not even have a character necessarily. You might just have a vibe, a floating thought, a bird riding themselves through the autumn skies, and that can still be legit if it's what you're going for. Examples straight from this zine right here. You're a healer going door to door helping people. You're a floating consciousness drifting through a peaceful alien landscape. Or you're literally a bird just vibing out so hard that you might accidentally fall asleep mid-session. And so how exactly do we build a cozy solo adventure? I think creating a solo cozy adventure has context rules, right? Step one, we're gonna think simple, right? We don't need a character sheet or stat blocks necessarily, all right? But we do need an idea. We need a peaceful forest, a bakery run by woodland creatures, a foggy island where ghosts just gossip like old ladies at a knitting circle. The goal here is that there is no goals. Let that sink in for a second. There's no goal. We're in the environment around us. We're just a part of it. And step two here is to use minimal rules, right? You could use the Mythic Game Master emulator, and I do have a full how to play on that here on the channel, although it's a bit ranty, but you can check out that video, card wherever and in the description. But what we're going to be doing is just asking questions. We're discovering meaning, right? We're ignoring anything that's going to ruin our chill, but it's a lot about discovery and what's going on here. That's the important part of playing here. If you do decide to use Mythic GME, I would keep the chaos factor at 5. I would ditch the character list and forget threads unless they spark joy to you. And drop the combat rules completely, unless you're going to use combat rules for some kind of a bake-off or something like that. There are some cozy context rules, though, that you should think about following, right? No one dies. Even tragedy is going to get a goofy spin. Like, for example, we're still talking about the bakery here. The bakery lady lost her flour and someone needs to find it. This is a tragedy because she can't make the cookies for tonight's bake-off, right? We're also talking about no stress here. There's a rule for no stress. If a roll result kills your vibe, then skip it and roll again. And cozy conflict only, right? So if the blue jay hates your muffins, they might instead just love the raspberry loaf. There should be an ultimatum, which will help you a lot when it comes to cozy conflict. Also, we're talking about no rushes, right? This isn't a rush zone, right? This is Saturday morning in game form. We're just relaxing. If we roll something and we don't know the exact idea about what's going on, that's okay. We can come up with it later. Just sit and think on it for a little while, take a sip of our coffee or our tea, whatever we're drinking. We don't need to rush and to figure out what's going on. And when it comes to your world building, good events should just lead to more good events. We're just evolving and discovering again. And land a couple jokes, right? If the cat wears a top hat, just go. Right here on page 6 of this issue's Mythic Magazine, we actually have a cozy meaning table. If you don't know a lot about meaning tables, that's okay, but basically whenever we want to discover something or we have a question about something, we're going to roll a D100 and we're going to get a couple of words that'll help us figure out what exactly is going on. And this meaning table is just full of cozy things things to be able to add into our world and everything else. Like for example, I got a 60. That is NPC. We roll twice on meaning tables to get 2 words. It's a 52. So I got NPC leadership. So for example, we could have a new NPC be introduced, which could be the mayor of our little town. And she's trying to help figure out the bake-off, right? This is a beautiful and wonderful roll chart table right here. And you can get it, again, use our link down in the description if you want to use it for yourself. Also, I do want to point out, I think that this roll chart is actually in alphabetical order as well. So that's super cute. So you can totally go through it that way. Right, but the point here is that instead of Mythic's dramatic prompt words like attack or danger, you're going to use words like relaxation, friend, or nature, or muffin. Okay, not really, but emotionally, yeah. And you can mix these prompts into your cozily vibes, right? Instead of undead and fear, you're going to roll undead and home. And boom, it's a sweet ghost that tells bedtime stories about an old village, right? So it might be cool to mix these in with other prompts and tables that you already have. All right, so now we're talking about cozy world building prompts, and this Mythic Magazine actually has 10 little steps that we can actually follow whenever it comes to world building in our lovely cozy setting, right? 10 beautifully simple prompts that help you shape your world. We've got stuff in here like, how does this place feel? And there's someone that people look up to. And who is that? And this place will soon host a celebration. What is it for? Could be our big bake-off we've been talking about this whole time. Maybe I'm just hungry this morning. I don't know. But anyways, you could roll a word or two from the cozy table and use it for inspo and build your setting like a warm cup of cocoa, right? This is a really cool chart here that they include in this magazine. I think one of the important things whenever you're playing solo is kind of creating a game loop, right? Like discovery and then rolling and then resolution, like what you're coming up with. And I think that cozy game loops should be a little bit different, and you don't need some crazy complex story, right? A simple loop could make your comfy and be repeatable, right? An example is the baking loop. Again, right? Someone places an order. So you're going to gather up some ingredients, you're going to bake the thing, and then you're going to deliver it and see how they react to the thing that you've just baked. That's it. And you could do it again. And you could add in little surprises like talking squirrels or secret recipes. You could even roll up the customers that are showing up to order things and what they want to order. And maybe you need to go out and find an ingredient for them, right? Or maybe you're a fox and you enter a new part of a forest. There's something interesting to reflect on it, and then you get to move on. And it needs to be some kind of loop that you can carry through an entire game session, right? With no crazy plot twists or anything else like that, but maybe some simple cozy plot twists that you can put in as needed, right? The magazine here actually has a visual representation of this. So come up with a simple cozy concept, choose the simplest set of rules, establish cozy context rules, world build, use world building prompts, and play the adventure, right? And I think that this is the simplest way to kind of put it, but it is a good visual thing to have. Included in here is actually a big example called Dream Beneath a Purple Sky. And it's really interesting to me, and I think it is kind of a way that I have played a cozy TTRPG before, so I think it's worth including here. In here it says a player builds a dream world while drifting on a river, and they discover a mysterious music box, a curious purple-green cat, a sense of calm while looking for something unknown. And they create a loop while they're playing. They drift over the lake or the river, they discover something, and they ask about, is this what I'm looking for? And that's it. That's the game. And it's kind of beautiful, just looking for stuff, right? The dream that they're floating in on this river never has to end. There's no mission success. There's no wind condition. It's just kind of peaceful, and it's about self-discovery. In a cozy game that I played, we were drifting down a river, and we would stop at different places of the river and see what was going on there. Did we stop at a little town? Did we stop at a nice little campsite? Is there a radio tower here that we can go and talk to some people and talk on the radio, see what music they're playing, right? So we were just drifting down a river, discovering different locations. And D&D terms call that kind of a hex crawl, right? We're discovering different locations as we move forward. And I think that that's super interesting. And it can be cozy looks every time you get some. So if you've ever felt like most TTRPGs are too loud, too fast, or too fighty, maybe it's time to slow it down. And if you've ever wanted to play a game all about yourself and all about self-discovery, a cozy TTRPG could be straight up for you. Mythic Magazine 48, it kind of nails the vibe, and it does include a whole rebellion science fiction adventure in there as well, which I think kind of doesn't really fit the cozy tone, but it nails the vibe of playing something cozy and personal. It's not about saving the world, it's kind of just about appreciating it. So you can light a candle, grab your dice, get some cocoa, and just let the vibes carry you here. And if you want to pick this magazine up for yourself, remember you can use our link down in the description to grab it for yourself and give it a nice read through. If you did like this video, please go ahead and, give it a thumbs up if you found it entertaining or helpful in any kind of way. If you have an idea for a cozy cozy adventure, please leave it in the comments below so everyone else can check it out and see what you got going on. What is your cozy adventure? A ramen shop for gnomes, a ghost-friendly treehouse, a cat detective mystery solved through napping? Drop them ideas below. And remember, if your cozy game does end in violence, it better be a pillow fight. Thanks for watching. Roll on that, weirdos, and I'll catch you next time.